Hey guys, Buck here, BTM Scale Modeling. Welcome back to another week on the bench. We have made great progress, I can tell you. As you can see behind me, the Voyager is together, and she's big. You know, she's not a small size kit, guys. I'll tell you that much. As you can see, I've already started depreciating, but the spine, sanding, everything works right now. Knock on wood, when I put her all together, and you know, I have tested it since I put it together and everything was working fine, but we'll knock on wood and everything. So as you will see in this week's video, from the stage of 2 holes to 1 hole, 2 sections to 1 section, get there. I want to thank all my new subscribers. I want to thank all my old returning subscribers, guys. It's greatly appreciated. I love your feedback, I love your advice, and I love your support. Guys, if you're new, please hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell, and follow me. Keep following me as we continue our journeys into scale model building. Guys, if you haven't joined one of the modeling communities I talk about, please go to sci-fi-fantasy.com. Go to Amazing Scale Modelers on Google Plus and Facebook, the Model Shop on Google Plus and Facebook, and you can find it. You can find TrekWorks, which is a proponent of the Model Shop, on YouTube. Boyd builds, does great kit builds. So, guys, if there's something I'm not explaining well enough, if there's something you need to see more, please leave it in the comment section. I usually respond within 12 to 24 hours. If I am not answering those questions, those communities that I just talked about, please go ask the questions. We are here to help. This is a great community. I say this every week, so you know, it's I love what I do. So guys, with that, I'm gonna stop rambling and we're gonna get to see what happened this week on the bench. Okay guys, Sunday, getting a little work done, finishing up the base. I'll show that once it has dried, but wanted to show you I've made the final connections between the saucer and the secondary hull, getting ready to put in our post. For that, a little post here, but I just wanted to show you the connections. Now I'm not going to be able to glue a lot of this in, but as you can see, it stays. I've kept it nice, clear, cleaned, so when it does go together, most of it will fit in the back. I'm keeping that wiring nice and clean. I've already run it through, I've already tested it, everything is working well. So what I'm using to put the post in is just a JB weld. You can pick it up at any hardware store. Like I said, I work for Home Depot, so that's where I get my stuff. And it works really good. This is a 5-minute. I wanted a little bit longer with putting the post in, so I can get it set where I need to. Probably should have done that before I wired it in, but it's neither here or there. I can work with both. That's why I got the 5 minutes, so it can work. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get that put in, and when we come back, we'll put this 2 sections together. All right, see you soon. All right, guys. Wanted to show you the base is done. Got the last piece on, and basically I have different forms. Like I said, with the post I use this JB weld because it has a 5-minute set time, and I'll show you why I use something that has with that long of a set time. For this, I used just some regular mid-cure epoxy, 2 parts, just mixed equal parts together, and placed the emblem. As you can see, it's done, all painted. Finally got some paint down, yes, and centered it in with the post before I put the post with the Voyager, and then basically I just weighted it down with books to keep it pressure on that, so it's set. And basically the only painting what I did for this was I primered it. I got rid of the part that actually went to the kit, the old display stand, bondoed that, sanded it down, and then I just went through and painted, and basically just silver chrome and then gold leaf. I let that dry, and then I just washed it with some Vallejo Model Wash just to distress it a little bit. I let that dry for about 4 or 5 hours, and I went back through with mineral spirits and wiped off the excess. And then, as you can see from the paint, it just left enough to give it a little age, a little distress, a little bit of use. Just not overly done, but looks really well. I'm gonna zoom in here, see if I can let you guys get a little bit better look at that. So I'm very happy with that. Overall, I think it's going to make the kit look very good when it's all said and done and put down. So the reason I used the quicker epoxy instead of the 15-minute is for right here. Now I'm going to try to do this and zoom in. So I have a bench vise, and I have placed it in there. I did have everything sitting down to put the JB weld in, and then I placed it in the vise. This is not glued down yet. The saucer section is not glued down yet. It's just there to have some weight. And then I just adjusted it to where it's even and level. Now it doesn't look that way right now because this is just a plastic table, cardboard table, and my vise is, to get it tight enough, it kind of leans it forward. But it's doing the job. Now what I'm doing is I'm just going to let this set for a while. I'm going to let that JB weld have time to cure and get that post really well in. As you can tell down here, yes, all my wiring is run through. I've already tested it again, and I want that excess wiring, and I'll probably just run some tape around that. Now what's next is I will glue the saucer section down, and then we will start work on the seams here and getting that taken care of. Everything else is done really good. I'm very happy with that. So you know, it's coming along even more. I mean, I still got a little cleanup work to do, but at this point I really needed to get the two pieces together and get finishing work on this. As you can tell, there will be some work to do, but you know, I'm happy. I still got a little bit of cleanup to do, but getting it all together and then doing the final touches on the seam work, and then I'll do the final sandings as I go, I'm very happy with. So with that, just like you see, I'm not going to hook up all the effects. I am going to hook up the main lighting and the navigation so you guys can see if it wants to stay together. There we go. And I'm going to take the light down. So as you can tell, it's still flaring a little bit, yeah, because I got to get the crystal clear in after I get this kit painted. But there's the Voyager. For the most part together, so you can kind of get a see. And then once I get it glued down and get the seam work done, I might hook it up to the effects board before I start the paint and let you guys see the full visual. But you know, there she is, guys. Still got some light leaks around here, around the sensor bands, but that's going to be covered up with paint. The epoxy sculpt helped, so I can get most of the rest of that taken care of with paint. Same as here on the nacelle. Get those light leaks finished up there. Most of that will be taken care of with the paint. So guys, I'm letting this cure, and then I'm going to put the saucer section to it and finish up some seam work, and hopefully here pretty quick we'll start getting our first coat of paint on. So I'll see you guys when I come. I'll see you guys when I get that started and done. All right. Well, good afternoon. It's Wednesday. Yay! Guess what, guys? We have a starship. Yes. Yes, Voyager is together. So, yay. What's going to happen now is I'm going to go ahead and start working on the seam work here. that I pointed out earlier. It's not real bad. Nothing too out of the ordinary on that. Just take a little Bondo work and hopefully 1 or 2 passes and we'll be good to go. But I thought I'd show you guys, yes, the Voyager is a ship now. No more pieces. So, yep. So we're going to start Bondo and getting these seam lines taken care of so we can get some paint on this beauty. Alright guys, I'll see you when that's done. Alright guys, well we're back. So as you can tell, like I said, I've started work on the final seam, and yes, the nice little red blue of painter's tape. So right now, basically it's just like all seam work we've done before on the ship. I've taped off the edges, give me a nice line, and then once this dries I'll pull the tape off, sand that down and smooth it out, see what we need to do, if we need to do another pass or not. Guys, I'm a big proponent of taping off your seam lines. When I saw that being used and explained on a how-to video, I tried it, and guys, it's phenomenal. I mean, as you've seen with the nacelles and with the saucer and with the secondary hull, I'd rather sand this little 1/8 of an inch more than a 1/2 inch, you know, because there is times when yes, you have to use your finger and you have to get messy and get it in there, but if you can, guys, I would suggest keep practicing this technique for taking care of your seam lines. It'll save you a lot of headache and a lot of sandpaper. So we're gonna let this dry. I'm gonna get it sanded down, and when we come back, we'll see where we're at, see if we're ready for paint. Oh boy. Alright guys, welcome to Saturday. We are, well, excited to say all the sanding is done. The primer is added. So yes, we are now going to get started on paint. And yeah guys, this kit is actually pretty big. It's hard to get it all in frame now that she is put together, and I will do my best. So, get right here to it. Let's zoom in a little bit. So here's the spine that I have been working on for the past week, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I wanted to leave a little bit of the raised edge going down into a smoother section with a little bit about the back of it. All in all, it went together better than I thought. Like I said, all the sanding is done. So what's next? What do we start when we say we're going to start painting? Well, everybody does something different with their painting technique. You know, I'm about trying to bring out detail. I'm about trying to build contrast and shadows and give an overall real world appearance to my kit building. You know, I like how the studio art is, and I try to keep really close to that, but one thing I want to do is in my building I like to do real world application. I try to visualize what it looks like when what this ship would actually look like. So what we're going to do next is what I call pre-shading. Now some of you probably do know this, but basically all I'm going to do is load my airbrush with black paint, and I'm going to start painting the panel lines. I'm going to paint into the recessed areas of the kit. Now what this is going to do is it's going to create a contrast. It's going to create depth and add into the detail. So guys, I'm going to get my paintbrush loaded, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you how we do this, or how I do this, and we'll go from there. So stand by. Alright guys, got my brush loaded. It's pretty simple. You know, black paint, thin it down with, to me, your thinner. I try to, I don't know how best to explain. It's more visual for me, but basically what you want is just a nice, as you can see, comes out real easy. So guys, one of the first things, if you've never done panel line shading, practice with your brush. Learn the where your pressure is, how much pressure you need, how far you need to pull back on your trigger, and then just work on lines. Like, so that's air, no paint. Little paint, a lot of paint. So basically all we're doing is we're just running lines. Now the less paint, the more lines you run. So I would really hint at working on just holding your brush and doing panel lines. And just working on your line work to help steady your hand, because sometimes you'll go in and you'll be like, oh, you know. So just work on just holding your brush, feeling where that paint's going to be at with the trigger, how much pressure, and to go from there. So that's what I did when I first started doing this. So basically all we're going to do is you pick a spot and you go. So I do know here in the recess windows I want to add a little black. You don't have to add a lot, but just this little bit's going to add detail. And then I'll just kind of start like right here, and then I'll just work back and forth. Now you don't have to worry about if it's really straight, if it's not straight enough, you get a little wavy, because your overall paint scheme is going to help cover that up. Basically what this is doing is just building depth into those panel lines. So like here where the saucer section met the neck, I want to paint into that, and then paint the raised parts. Basically wherever you want to create contrast and depth, is what I would do. Just like that. Now when you have a section like here on the saucer where this is, you know, part of the ship's up, part of it's down, you can either go full tilt and paint it all in and it creates a nice depth, or you can just hit the raised areas just like so, and your overspray is going to help. But basically all it is this is all I do. So that's how I start my paint jobs. I start with pre-shading, and that's what the technique is called, is pre-shading. So and as we keep going with the progression of the paint, you will see how this will affect the kit, how it adds depth and detail. So we're going to do my favorite segment, time lapse with BTM, and I'm going to get this all pre-shaded for you guys, and I'll talk to you when we come back. Okay, guys, that's it. This is basically my pre-shading 101. Yes, it's as you can tell, not everything's straight. Some's darker, some's lighter. This is what helps build that contrast and accentuates the detail. In my estimate, you don't ever want the pre-shading to be almost perfect. You just want it to highlight like the panel lines, the curvatures, the areas where shadows are present. So as you can tell, like I said, that's it. That is basically all I do. I get all the pieces done. Now we'll let this sit and dry. I might go back and darken up a couple more areas that look a little bit light to me. But other than that, this is how we do this, guys. This is how I do this. So sorry about we. So yeah, this is the next step into setting up for primary paint. So I'm going to let this sit and dry. I'm going to touch up a couple spots and we'll come back. Okay, guys. Well, this is probably going to do it for this weekend's video on our build log for the Voyager. A lot of great things happened. We finally got all the sanding done. The ship is together. And yes, we have started our primary paint process with the pre-shading. So guys, what's in store? Well, next week we are going to actually get the primary hull color down. We are going to work on the details for the sensor bands and get that done so we can get that taped off. Guys, this is getting ever closer. I see maybe a week, maybe a couple of weeks left, and I'll be putting the Voyager to the base. So I'm happy. We're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel with starting the paint process. Guys, this has definitely been something else of a kit, and I've enjoyed it. So, with that, I hope you guys have a great and safe and happy weekend, and we'll see you next week on the bench. Take care.